Okay, so we're going to look at the board work problems that I'm planning on using Monday, September 27. So if you're not in class that day, look at this video and work on these. Um, so first of all, pause the video and go ahead and work the problems out. And when you're done, start it back up. Or if you're just stuck and you want to see how to get started, that's okay. Play a little bit of the video, enough to get you started, but then stop it and work it on your own. Uh, I always say mathematics is not a spectator sport. It's something you do. That's how you learn math, by doing it, not just by watching someone. Okay, so um, pause the video. Okay, so we're back. Let's look at this first one. Write the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line through -4 with slope -7. Um, so we have the information there to use the point-slope form, but we want the slope-intercept form. That's okay. We will use the point-slope form and then convert it. Right? So the point-slope form looks like this. Okay, so we plug in what we need. Y minus y sub 1 is the y coordinate of our point. That's -4. The slope is -7, and then x minus the x coordinate of our point. It's also -4. So we'll change that to +4 and y plus 4, and then on the other side of the equation it's going to be x plus 4. Now to convert to slope-intercept form, we just solve for y. The first thing we'll do to do that is distribute on the right side. And we're almost done. We're just going to subtract 4 from both sides so that y is by itself. Okay, so we have -7x, and now we just have to take -28 minus 4. We do these examples, but I want to pause. I just want to look at this in a little detail because it's such a common mistake. This is from the homework, actually, and lots of people look at -28 minus 4 and they say, well, yeah, I know what that is. It's -24. Okay, except that it's not. Okay, -28 minus 4, what is that? Just be careful on these and make sure you get them right. Okay, there's really no reason to miss this. An occasional arithmetic error, sure, you will make an occasional arithmetic error, but for the most part, you should get these right. You can punch it into a calculator to check yourself. I suggest you just write it down at least over to the side like this. And look at that and say, okay, -28, and then I'm subtracting 4 from that. So it's going to the left on the number line, right? It's going to become farther left, that is more negative. Okay, and that's, of course, -32. You can also write it down, -28. There's a lot of minus signs here, so let's change subtraction to addition and write it as plus -4. That's the same thing, and then it's very clear you have two negative numbers you're adding together. Okay, so the result is just the sum of those numbers, and then the sign is the same sign as those numbers. So it's 32 and you had 28 and 34. Well, of course, it's -32. Okay, so write that down a little bit better. You can look at it either way. Just be careful, and you can eliminate most of these kinds of errors just by being careful. Okay, so that's it. And that's slope-intercept form. Okay. So let's look at this next one. Find the x and y intercepts of the line. Okay, and we've looked at some of these before. Had one on the quiz. It was quite a few people missed it. The quiz covered a lot of things, and some of you just forgot how to do this while taking the quiz. It's completely understandable. So let's look at this. To find the x-intercept, what we do is we set y to 0 and solve for x. And a convenient way to do that is say, well, when y is 0, this term is going to be 0, so it's just gone. So kind of scratch that out and say 3x equals 14. Okay, and so solve for x. Divide both sides by 3. On the left you get x, on the right you get 14/3. So that's the x-intercept. Let's look at the y-intercept. So we'll just rewrite it again over here so we can play that game. But this time we're saying, okay, we want to find the y-intercept. So that's where it crosses the y-axis, and that means at that point x is 0. Where it crosses the y-axis, x is 0. So this is the one we can cover up and say, oh, we don't want to pay any attention to that one. We want to just solve for 2/3 y equals 14. Because when x is 0, that's what we have. Okay? And now, we want to get rid of the negative 2/3. I might have just said 2/3 y. I meant negative 2/3 y. So we multiply by negative, and we multiply by the reciprocal of negative 2/3, and that's going to be negative 3/2. Not the negative reciprocal like when you're talking about perpendicular slopes, just the actual reciprocal. The number that times negative 2/3 will give us 1. Okay, so that's negative 3/2. Multiply that times both sides. That's what we have. And on the other side, negative 3/2 times 14. So, sure enough, this cancels. Negative times a negative is a positive. Everything cancels. And on the left, we have y. And on the right, this is negative 3/2 times 14. Let's cancel that and make that 7. And that's negative 21. Okay, so those are our intercepts. X-intercept 14/3. Y-intercept is negative 21.